Okay, let's see how we did here. We've got in Mr. Kelly's English class, he has the following grade breakdown. He's only got 3 grades that count: tests, homework, and reading quests. In his class, Shannon averages an 88% on tests, and they count for 50%. Averages 100 on homework, and homework counts as 30%. And a 90% on quests, and 90%, that's 20% of his grade. What is her overall grade in the class? Round to the nearest 10th. All right, let's do this real quick here. I've got 88 on tests. I'm going to multiply that by its weight. Test was 50%. It's going to do 0.5. That's 50%. Plus 100 on homework, so 100 times its weight, which was 30%. Plus 90% on quests, and 90% the quests count for 20% of the grade. And I'm going to go ahead and divide that by 0.5, 50%, plus 0.3, 30%, plus 0.2, 20%, the weights. And we end up getting 92 over 1, which is just a 92%. So your answer should have been C. Let's try number 2. Christian, on the other hand, he averages a 64.3 on tests and a 88.9 on homework, and then finally a 77.6 on reading quests. What's his grade? So we'll do the math real quick here. We got 64.3 times its weight, and that was 50%, 0.5, plus 88.9. 88.9 times homework was 0.3, plus 77.6 times its weight, which was 20%, 0.2. We're going to divide that all by 0.5 plus 0.3 plus 0.2. 64.3. Well, we're probably going to need a calculator for this one. 64.3 times 0.5 plus 88.9 times 0.3 plus 77.6 times 0.2. That's going to give me a total of 74.34. Divided by 0.5 plus 0.3 plus 0.2 is 1. So your answer was 74.34. Wait a second, that's not one of my answers. Because we got to round that to the nearest 10th. So we threw in a little rounding for you guys here too. So I'm going to take that 74.34 and round that to the nearest 10th. The 10th would be the 3, and I'm going to look over here to the 4, and I notice that it's 4 and below, so I leave that alone. I do not round up, and your answer should be 74.3%. So your answer should have been A, 74.3%. And the next one, Jonathan's saving up money to buy a plane ticket to New York so he can see firsthand the Statue of Liberty. I actually don't care about any of that information. He works for a total of 24 days. That's good. He worked for 10 hours each day for the first 4 days. On 10 of the days, he worked for 4 hours each day. And the rest of the days, 6 hours each day. What's the average number of hours he worked per day? Well, 10 hours, he did that only for 4 days. So 10 would be your number. And we're going to multiply it by the weight. He only did that 4 days. Plus, on 10 of the days, he worked for 4 hours. So he worked 4 hours on those days. And the weight of that, how many times did he do it? He did that 10 days. Plus, the rest of the days, 6 hours each day. So he worked 6 hours. But I don't know how many times he did that. We can figure that out, though, because I know he worked 24 days. 24 days minus the 4 days that he worked at 10 hours, minus the 10 days that he worked for 4 hours, and that's going to give me 24 minus 4 minus 10 will give me 10. So I know that he worked 6 hours a day for 10 days. And I'm going to add up the weights. 4 plus 10 plus 10. I already actually knew that was going to be 24 down there because he worked for 24 days. Let's do the math here. 10 times 4 plus 4 times 10 plus 6 times 10 is going to give me a grand total of 140. I'm going to divide that by, we said 24. And we get 5.83333, and that goes on forever, right? So we're just going to round that to the nearest hundredth, and that's going to give me a total answer of 5.83 hours per day.